The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with the proud, hard-working patriots of Lehigh Valley.
The Mack truck, no Republican alive, connects with the working men and women of America like Donald J. Trump.
For more than 100 years, this legendary company has been making trucks right here in eastern Pennsylvania. And you are the men and women who put your pride and spirit into those beautiful words, stamped on every Mack truck that said, "Made in the USA." It's made in the USA.
On behalf of our entire team, we warmly welcome you to our plant, Mr. President, home of the finest trucks in America.
Yeah.
Built by the most skilled and dedicated workforce in the trucking industry.
Oh, baby. I wanted to start off the show with that because it was inspiring and it was awesome, and I think we have some momentum going into this year because it's the 250th anniversary of our birth. And because people are proud to be Americans, and the Democrat Party picked a very bad time to turn into socialism. I'm just going to tell you that. Now, I wanted to start off the show that way. However, I'm going to pivot immediately because today, ladies and gentlemen, we're opening the show with the one and only Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor, because there's a whole lot of important stuff to go on. Dude, you got top billing today, Doug.
No, I really appreciate that. Very flattered.
Oh, brother. This is a very, very, very big week in front of the Supreme Court. I do want to ask you this. A federal appeals court bats down a Biden judge, sides with Trump, says ICE can resume swift deportations. This is kind of a big deal. So this doesn't just deal with people right around the border. It deals with people across the country who came across the border the last couple of years. What do you think?
It's a very big deal, number one. Number two, it's in the District of Columbia Circuit of the U.S. Court of Appeals. The reason I mention that for the listeners is that that's generally an extremely liberal venue. We know that. And again, the court specifically said that not only can you do expedited removal when you catch somebody at the border, you can now do it, as you just explained perfectly, from the interior of the country. Big win for the administration.
This is really, really big. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on at the Supreme Court. Birthright citizenship, whether you have to vote on Election Day. What are the status of those two cases?
Birthright is fascinating, and not to be overly melodramatic, I literally cannot wait to see how they come down on it because we've been talking about it, we've been analyzing it. One very interesting thing is that a very liberal law professor, Richard Epstein, wrote a book called The Myth of Birthright Citizenship, and in the book, which is very academic, but it's very interesting, he argues that it's not clear at all that people who are born here as the offspring of people who broke the law are citizens, and that's from a very, very liberal professor, and it makes a lot of sense. Without getting all in the weeds, and real quick, if you go to the historical context and record and documents, it's clear that people had to show an allegiance to the United States before they became a citizen, all of that. What I expect, however, is basically a compromise. I think the Supreme Court, and it's all good news, by the way, so hear me out. The Supreme Court's going to say that Congress can amend the current statute. I've told you that before. The current statute, by the way, says the offspring of two diplomats, for example, are not U.S. citizens born here. So all of this nonsense, for lack of a better word, about if you're born here, that's it, it's automatic. No, not at all. And the Supreme Court, crystal ball, is going to say in sum and substance, I think, could be wrong, that Congress could easily amend that statute that I just mentioned to say that the offspring of two people who broke the law to come in here are not citizens.
Wow, that is kind of big. I wonder what's going to happen to Ilhan Omar marrying her bruh. I wonder what's going to happen there. What about voting on Election Day? I've heard some arguments. It sounds like they're leaning toward enough of this friggin' nonsense voting months after the damned election. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding me?
Good.
I think back to when I was a kid, and I think we all remember this. Oh, Uncle Arthur, he's going to be out of the country, so they're sending him an absentee ballot. And that was very, very much in the minority, just a few people. Oh, so-and-so is in the military. They're going to do an absentee ballot. California turns around. They send every single person an absentee ballot. You got to be kidding me. So the point is, I do anticipate that the Supreme Court's going to cut a lot of that back, Rob.
Didn't they already make a decision early this week? And I apologize for not. We usually have it on the bottom of the hour. Wasn't a decision already came out this week? I don't have it right in front of me right now.
Yeah, I think there was an election decision.
Yeah. I didn't have the post. I didn't have it in front of me. I apologize. I apologize for that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this week there were a lot of sort of, obscure type cases that came out, and, they weren't so much covered in the media. But the election one we'll look at. But the real big one has to do, again, with the absentee ballots. And more importantly, this nonsense, I keep using that word, as long as it's marked on Election Day, we can take our good old sweet time, Rob, and we can count it a week later or maybe even up to 30 days later.
I think America is done with that. We understand what the hell is going on with regard to elections, election theft. And, people are so damned afraid to say, hey, election theft. I mean, everybody's so damned afraid of saying election theft. I mean, it should be fairly obvious, particularly, in California. There's a whole lot of chicanery going on there. I want to mention something real quick that is kind of funny. Supreme Court sided with the Texas man who challenged the law barring drug users for having guns. That happens so you can smoke weed and still get a gun. My biggest concern, Doug, is them forgetting where the gun is.
Well, that was a hilarious example of there's a little bit in that case for everybody, right?
Yeah.
The conservatives, right? Gun rights. The liberals, let's relax marijuana, concepts. So it was really pretty comical. But the reality is, in all seriousness for your listeners, that was a fact-driven case big time because that particular individual who was charged, the defendant, was a very casual user of marijuana.
Yeah.
And the government made the mistake of analogizing, and government lawyers make mistakes, analogizing it to habitual drunkenness historically. And the court just laughed at him and said, no, this guy's a very casual user once or twice a week. So it was largely driven by that. But at the same time, the way I see it is I think it was a good Second Amendment ruling.
I think the piece that we were thinking about, the Supreme Court's conservative majority gave Donald Trump's administration a massive boost to support the president's increasing threats to legal immigration by making it easier for border officers to challenge whether green card holders can return to the country. That was a decision earlier this week. And also, if you have been charged with a crime and you leave the country, which essentially, I mean, even if you say it's not, sounds like you're fleeing the authorities, then your ability to come back to the country is in jeopardy and you're in some legal issues.
Oh, no question about that.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
I've been in immigration cases exactly like that. Illegal entry after deportation cases, by the way, which carries a 2-year mandatory minimum. But, of course, it's used to plea bargain, and the person takes the felony and gets a slightly lesser sentence. But all of that stuff, I mean, look, Donald Trump, when the history books are written, I mean, he ran on immigration, he enforced immigration, he did a great job with immigration, and it is what it is. And the left just becomes hysterical when the guy does a good job.
Yeah, a federal judge blocks the Trump administration from using a federal database to check citizenship, effectively preventing Trump from removing illegals from the voter rolls. What do you suppose is going to happen with this? Is this going to go to the Supreme Court?
I think it will go to the Supreme Court, and once again, I think the Supreme Court is going to be a very fair arbiter of common sense. I have to mention, you're going to laugh, and I was going to text it to you, and I will later when we hang up. Yeah. There was a meme, and it said, a meme from, we're going to call it 1945, I guess, and it goes, District Court rules that the United States cannot invade the Normandy beach.
Yes, exactly.
What was
it? The elected judge, Sparkle Suknanen is the judge, and they want her removed from the bench and impeached. What do you suppose the possibility of that's going to happen?
Probably not very high, only because historically impeachment of judges is extremely difficult, extremely rare, unfairly so. By the way, there are many instances where it's warranted, particularly the pound the gavel one, Rob.
Okay, another one. Here we go. Federal judge stepping in saying that the Agriculture Department cannot prevent SNAP beneficiaries from getting junk food. What'd you think about that?
I think it's totally stupid.
I know, too.
Obviously. That's a new legal term, totally stupid.
Yes. That should be a new statute. Totally stupid. As soon as a case becomes totally stupid, it's got to be thrown out. Because honestly, we got second graders with type 2 diabetes. We're the sickest we've ever been, and these idiots say, "Oh no, give them the damned oops all berries crunch." I mean, honestly, so bloody stupid. There's a whole bunch of other stuff here, bro. Federal judge forces Biden to hand over secret tapes he spent 2 years hiding. That came out. So it looks like it may.
That one, that makes sense. I mean, I've said on media segments that, when it was Trump, they want to see this, that, and the other thing, all about his family. They look right in the camera. They go, sunlight's the best disinfectant. The public's entitled to know. Then when it's Biden, right away they reverse course 180 degrees, and they turn around and say privacy's
But here's the deal. Robert Hur used the recordings to say that Donald Trump, or Joe Biden wasn't fit for any sort of prosecution with regard to classified documents.
Well, you remember the meltdown they had when that came out. Robert Hur, all of a sudden, was the worst thing since, whatever name you want to use. And, he's an old man who has no cognitive memory, and they just went berserk.
Now, Doug, I got some more stories I need to get to here before we break. Can you hold through the break?
Absolutely.
All right, brother, I appreciate it. Doug Burns Law on Twitter. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic.
That is Tulsi Gabbard on her way out as DNI. And a couple of things have come out this week. One of those is that it looks like documentation shows Anthony Fauci not only paid to create the COVID virus at Wuhan, but also worked with the intelligence community to cover it up. Doug Burns, I know that he was able to finagle a 10-year pardon. What do you suppose is going to happen next?
Bad news and good news. The bad news is he was given that ridiculous open-ended pardon.
Yes.
Didn't even identify, what specific crime, went forward and into the future. We've discussed that. And the bad news is it'll likely not be undone at the end of the day. Although, real quick, they could charge him with a crime.
Yes.
He would raise, "I've been pardoned," and they turn around and say, "Your Honor, we're going to demonstrate to the court that pardon was completely and totally invalid. Here's how."
What about states? What about states?
States can charge him,
Mm-hmm.
and then the good news is that, not to be immodest, as a trial lawyer and a former federal prosecutor, I knew from day one that the guy was completely full of you-know-what.
Of course.
I could tell in 2 seconds flat that he was not being truthful about the gain-of-function research. He wasn't being truthful about the...
But Doug doesn't...
And he wasn't truthful about masking and social distancing.
Dude, if this was proven that we paid for the damned virus to be created, then anyone who lost a loved one should be able to bring some sort of a class action suit or something against our federal government. Totally
agree with you, 100%.
This was the creation of a genocide, Doug. This was created of a damn genocide, and we cannot just allow this to go by.
And by the way, outrageous. I'm not a physician, but I know full well that, you can build up natural immunity. All that masking and distancing, that was a disgrace.
Of course it was. That's why I came up with the expression, "Don't catch the stupid," Doug. It was utterly ridiculous.
You got it.
Here is Tulsi Gabbard with regard to what they're discovering about Donald Trump's first impeachment.
And so the documents that we released really pointed to the fact that the 2019 impeachment occurred because there were members of the intelligence community working directly with House Democrats, specifically Adam Schiff, who's on the House Intelligence Committee at the time, concocting this narrative, weaponizing the whistleblower process, lying and abusing their power, all to create this manufactured basis that Nancy Pelosi then used to drive this impeachment against Donald Trump in 2019.
What are your thoughts on that information?
There's absolutely no question, zero, that the government was weaponized completely improperly, unethically, et cetera, A to Z. You can read books like The Russia Hoax and everything else, lays it out in 400 pages, and it's a total disgrace. What I find absolutely breathtaking is to watch Adam Schiff look in a camera and talk about the Trump weaponization.
Yeah, I know.
DOJ. I mean, it's just laughably absurd.
He is an evil Pez dispenser. That's what he reminds me of. Who spews poison candy. That's kind of because he's got that neck. He's got that neck. Federal judge
is so positive. How do you make Pez evil?
He would. Federal judge quashes grand jury subpoenas targeting Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Fry in DOJ's immigration enforcement investigation. Now, this may quash a grand jury subpoena, but this doesn't mean that charges can't be brought against them.
100%.
Okay.
Just a totally rogue move, activist move. The point is, subpoenas are basically presumed valid on their face. It's not the judge's job. Violation of separation of powers to insert him or herself into the investigative process. Absolutely ridiculous. But to your point, 100%. Yes. A, you can issue new subpoenas ostensibly in front of different judges. I've seen that rodeo many times. And then B, it does not preclude charges down the road.
Here's something about Ilhan Omar I want to play you.
25, the original financial disclosure, claimed assets up to $30 million, a $5 million winery, a venture capital firm worth $25 million, earnings $15,000 from the winery, zero from the venture capital firm. Then there was an amended financial disclosure filed in March of this year. The assets were wiped out, basically, from the winery and the venture capital.
Now, this is Ilhan Omar and her husband, who supposedly were worth $30 million. Now we find out that this guy made less money than I did when I was unemployed.
Clara, Rob. I mean, Donald Trump borrows money, pays back every cent. No one loses a dime. And they go on and on for years about what a criminal he is. This woman, I'm worth $30 million. No, I'm worth zero. No, that's fine. That's okay.
But don't you think this has put a microscope onto her and her husband's finances? And don't you suppose that the DOJ, the FBI are looking at this?
Well, you would think so, absolutely. And documents don't lie. They tell massive storylines. But she's gotten away with an awful lot of stuff. And it's really a reflection of what you and I discuss all the time, which is that people are afraid to speak out. They play the discrimination card from the bottom of the deck every minute of the day. But again, to your point, hopefully they are investigating it. Yeah,
you got 3 socialists were elected in New York City. I think it's actually a good thing. They got rid of Dan Goldman, because he's a piece of crap. I think it's kind of odd and ironic that he, is this leftist Democrat, and he was booted from a coffee house in an act of anti-Semitism, and 3 anti-Semitic socialists were elected in New York City. I think that this makes it easier to win against them nationally. What are your thoughts with regard to these 3 Mondami-backed candidates winning in New York?
Well, first of all, you completely read my mind, because I was going to say, I knew we were going to discuss last night, and what I was going to say is there's an old saying, from every negative is a positive, and the positive is that Goldman's gone. That guy's a disgrace.
Oh, my God.
His behavior during the whole thing was completely disgraceful. He was an assistant U.S. attorney, and I don't say that lightly, okay? When you're an assistant U.S. attorney, you're supposed to follow legal ethics. You're supposed to have some credibility. He has none, zero. So I'm very, very happy to see him gone. To your point, I think it's a bit of a head fake. Those who are bemoaning, oh my God, this is the end of the world, absolutely not. You have your point, which I agree with, and then you have my point, which is that politics always is cyclical, back and forth, and I think New York City will cycle back to leaders like Giuliani, Bloomberg, down the road. We'll see that happen. This is just absolutely insane. But it's interesting because somebody I was on a media segment this morning with made a really good point, and she said that, because I always wonder, wait a minute, if the majority of people, even in New York City, don't support all this anti-Semitic stuff and the socialism stuff in the financial capital of the world, which makes sense, how in the world are these people getting elected? It's because it's a small amount of voters, manipulation of voters, things like that. And I'm hoping that'll change and New York will get better.
They're going to get their rear ends kicked in the national election. There's no doubt about that. Considering with the 250th anniversary of our birth and the wave of patriotism is coming back. By the way, also George Conway got his rear end kicked up between his shoulders. That made me smile.
Oh, that's great. Dude.
I know, dude.
I know that. That's great. He lost in a primary?
All right. Well, by the way, thanks for joining the Carson and Burns show today. 1/2 hour with Doug Burns. My God. Have a glorious day, bro. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Really enjoyed it. Take care.
All right. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
TDS, James Covell has TDS. Will I land in a psych ward? That is anybody's guess. It's for sure, I'm insane. I really can't explain why for Donald Trump I have so much disdain. I'm as crazy as a loon. I'm gonna crack up soon. It's expanding like a big balloon. It's gotten even worse. It's gonna be my curse. TDS, TDS, TDS. TDS, TDS, is it derangement? I say yes. Whenever Trump is mentioned, I become a giant mess. He causes me such pain, pain I can't contain. Of my existence, he has been a bane, like Ellen and Rosie. In our brain, he lives rent-free, driven me as crazy as can be. It's something I can't shake. How much more can I take? TDS, TDS, TDS.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when pain is a part of your everyday life. Relief Factor was created to help people address inflammation, one of the most common causes of ongoing aches and pains from aging, overexertion, and daily living. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that works through multiple metabolic pathways to support comfort and mobility. No prescription, no masking symptoms, just real relief so you can keep moving forward. I work out every other day, I crush it at the gym, and I ride my bike 100 miles on the weekend. I credit Relief Factor for making all of those activities pain-free. And as America celebrates 250 years of independence, give yourself a chance to reclaim yours. To commemorate, they're offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. Yeah. So you can pursue your happiness being pain-free. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4-RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Ghost Bed. I love my Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you're already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's exactly why I switched to Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed keeps you cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support. Less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is offering my audience an extra 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to around $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson.
Now back to the Rob Carson Show, presented by Paramount Plus.
Here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Keep on rocking the free world.
I'm not playing this because I like Neil Young.
Keep on rocking the free world.
In fact, I can't stand Neil Young. I'm playing it because Mark Rutte of NATO said this.
Yes, I think the president, when it comes to Iran, has done exactly what he needed to do, and I think also he is right to move to this deal. And in essence, what it means is that Iran will not be able to develop this nuclear capability and therefore not be a threat to the region and the wider world. And when it comes to the Strait and this principle of the freedom of navigation, you have seen.
By the way, it's the Gay of Hormuz this month because it's Pride Month. All right, it's not catching on yet, but it will. It's the Gay of Hormuz.
Last week, The G7, the president being there in France, in Avignon, which was a big success. They came to a joint conclusions. All the leaders.
Yeah, listen, down the entire world, all these elitists are now gathering around and kissing the ring.
Supported him when it came to Iran. All the leaders there supported him when it came to this principle of the freedom of navigation. You see now massively European allies pre-positioning their assets close to the strait, so to be able
pre-position your asset or we'll kick it.
To help, for example, when it comes to demining. What you see here, Brett, is really the President of the United States not only being the President of the United States, he is more than that. He is also the leader of the free world.
Keep on rocking, baby.
We will have in 2 weeks a summit in Ankara with the 32 allies plus 10 other nations. So in total 42 nations representing a combined economy of 70 trillion. That's 2.5 the size of the American economy, being led by this president as leader of the free world. They want to follow him on this, and I'm absolutely sure that where the G7 was a big success, also in Ankara we will see these 42 countries coming to joint conclusions.
Meanwhile, President Derpy New would walk off stage and shake people's hands that weren't there. I mean, honestly, you Democrats are a friggin' joke. And you just elected a bunch of spoiled, entitled communists in New York who are going to get their clocks cleaned nationally. I like to say that the left exposes its flanks so we can kick its ass. Yeah, I said it. It's no big deal. It's all right. It's a minor word. I use it 100 times when I put together IKEA furniture, and I do much worse. But that's what it is. They've exposed their flank. Now we know who we're at war with. Now we know who we are at war with. And the great thing is the Democrat Party is divided, 1,000% divided. You've got Lord of the Flies meets Animal Farm, which is Zoran Dami and his idiotic brigade of people who have zero life experience and knowledge of history or anything. They think they're going to take over the greatest engine of individual and economic liberty in the history of mankind, and they're sorely mistaken. We're going to bend them over our knees and give them a good whooping. That's what we're going to do, kids. So there you go. Here's Frank Luntz talking about Donald Trump. Even though the Democrat Party has tried to put him in jail, take his fortune, raided Mar-a-Lago, impeached him twice, and tried to kill him 4 times, he is the most impactful politician America has probably seen since Lincoln.
He's the most impactful political leader that I've seen in decades.
Yeah.
When he made an endorsement in the Texas Senate race, it changed the outcome. And he made endorsements in Louisiana.
He just did that in North Carolina, too.
When he's done so in congressional races in places like Kentucky and California, it really does matter. So he doesn't have to be there. He is more seen, more heard, and more listened to than anyone in American politics.
Yeah, and here he is yesterday at the Mack truck factory.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with the proud...
Democrats going to get run over with a Mack truck in November, and I'm going to be helping to drive.
Hard-working patriots of Lehigh Valley.
The Mack truck, no Republican alive connects with the working men and women of America like Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, baby.
For more than 100 years, this legendary company has been making trucks right here in eastern Pennsylvania. And
Barack Obama said, there's no way we could bring Mack manufacturing to America. I don't have a magic wand.
For the men and women who put
you got a little bitty one in your pocket.
Your pride and spirit into those beautiful words stamped on every Mack truck that said, made in the USA.
Yeah, good luck with that communist bullcrap in the 250th anniversary of our birth. It is not going to work. And the Mack truck is driving down the road, and we're going to run you over like ICE protesters.
It sucks to be you Democrats, you.
We're going to be socialists. Oh, my God.
Inflation is down. Schumer's a clown. He'll get his due.
You know, Hitler and Stalin, they didn't get it right.
No Kings was a flop.
We'll make it work.
But you will not stop.
Can I borrow some money for rent?
I'll bring the world peace. More wars I will cease. We'll come out on top.
I'm running for Congress. I just need some rent money.
Drug boats we took out.
I've never had a job before.
We ended all doubt.
Government run grocery stores.
The border is closed. Letitia is hosed. while Democrats pout.
We can give you free buses and free rent.
The new ballroom will be complete, while Democrats will suffer defeat. It sucks to be you.
Yeah, it does.
Miserable you. It sucks to be you.
Now a new NBC News poll shows the Democratic Party has reached an all-time low in popularity.
Yeah.
Why and all you want about the National Guard, Antifa pals, we will bombard. It sucks to be you. You know that it's true. It sucks to be you.
Yeah. Yeah, and despite these punk little soy boy and soy B words in New York City, the world is coming to realize America is awesome. The Scots! That's the Scots!
What an atmosphere. What a pleasure it is to be playing with these guys in Miami and in America.
We've turned Little Havana has become Little Scotland.
Come on.
We've had a great welcome from everybody in America. They've been so friendly. It's the best holiday I've ever experienced.
Yeah. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Vikings. Come on. Row. Row. I love it. Boom. 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 There you go. Come on. The world loves America. They love biscuits and gravy. They love Buc-ee's. Yeah, they do. They like free refills. They like freedom. They love the Second Amendment. Honestly, Democrats, you're going to get such a whooping. A whooping. We've waited 10 years to deliver this whooping as the Democrat Party disintegrates before our very eyes. Here's an American man just saying, you know, all of this love that the world is giving us when they discover how great we are, despite Sonny Hostin saying that the American dream has never been realized, and Joy Reid saying she's not going to celebrate July 4th because none of her supposed black friends are going to do it. Listen to this guy. He says now he loves America even more.
I am honestly so incredibly thankful that America was able to be given the opportunity and the privilege to host this. Like, we needed this. The world needed this. Because all these foreign soccer fans are all now learning that America is not what we're portrayed in the media. We are not what these politicians say. They're the nicest, kindest, most giving individuals on the face of this planet, and we love everybody.
Absolutely, 100%. And that Mack truck factory, there was an immigrant there. Yeah, there was an immigrant. He did a little speech yesterday. He didn't even come from Somalia to open a leering center that didn't serve any children and didn't steal millions, perhaps billions of dollars.
I'm a very grateful American, a son to Lebanese immigrants who came to the United States 50 years ago in pursuit of the American dream.
Come on.
My 80-year-old father is here with me today.
I am an even prouder Mack truck employee.
Come on now. Mack truck, baby.
Standing here with me today is my father and my son, both Mack truck workers.
Woo!
You can say Mack trucks runs in our blood.
The first time I met President Trump, it was in 2019 at the White House, and our team and I won the Nationals, the NCAAs, and at Penn State. Fast forward 7 years, I'm fighting on the White House lawn.
We don't have to live in darkness anymore, and we're not going to. We're going to drive the left and the communists into that darkness. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
The economy has been crushed and the defense industrial base has been damaged so severely that it'll take them many years to rebuild, many, many years. And now we're trying to work out a deal that's fair. And we also want to work out a deal. You know, the stock market hit a new high today again. And oil.
Well, we better go out and destroy the reflecting pond then.
For the first time in months hit, think of it, $70 a barrel. Money that will be taken out of Iran is going to go to our farmers to give corn, soybeans, wheat to Iran because they have a hunger problem, they have a food problem, they have a medicine problem, they got a lot of problems, and they have an inflation. Their inflation now just at 300%.
Wow.
So they have a lot of problems.
There you go. So we're going to see free Iran, hopefully. Donald Trump changing the entire world, as you heard earlier, Mark Rutte saying Donald Trump is the leader of the free world. This is what it's like to have cojones, unlike Joe Biden. What an awful presidency. What a buffoon. What a laughable clown he was. And the Democrat Party said that he belonged on Mount Rushmore. Like, you know, I mean, honestly, we're not stupid. Why would he even say something like that other than to distract? I told you the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell. And all we have to do is give them a shove. All we got to do is give them a little shove. You know, I played this guy at the Mack truck plant. Let me give you a little sample of this guy again. He's an immigrant.
I'm a very grateful American, a son to Lebanese immigrants who came to the United States 50 years ago in pursuit of the American dream.
Yeah, you got that versus this, one of the winners in New York, Claire Valdez, running for New York Senate. What would you rather have, that story or this?
You have to be, fighting for a trans bill of rights at the federal level, again, enshrining rights for trans folks and trans students. There's legislation that we can make sure that rights at the workplace are enshrined and make sure that trans people can...
She's a child. She's a freaking child. She's never had a job. She has been indoctrinated, and she has no clue.
Be protected as workers, too.
Oh, my God, protect the workers. Oh, my God.
There's a lot of specificity, I think, in that language that's required to make sure that it's...
That's academic gobbledygook.
It's not totally universal. It's specifically for trans and non-binary people who deserve all the same protections as everyone else.
Yeah, she doesn't realize that got its ass kicked in November of 2024. Yeah, it destroyed popular vote, electoral college, which you're trying to get rid of, all the swing states, all of that. But Claire Valdez from New York 7 wants to grant citizenship and voting rights to illegal aliens, use taxpayer funds for all transgender treatments, and eliminate private health insurance. All of the things that we got rid of. Then there's this Darazelia Avila Chardonnay. That's actually Chevalier. Here's what she said. New York 13. Abolish prisons, abolish ICE, abolish borders, defund the police. All deportations are wrong, including for violent criminals. She called the U.S. an effing disgrace. And then she said, I forgot my napkin, so I just wiped my hand on the American flag behind me. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to wipe our rear ends with your candidacy, and then we're going to discard you so you can go get a job. Then there's Brad Lander, who beat Dan Goldman, who's a complete moron. Abolish ICE, forgive all student loans, almost $2 trillion. Expand the Supreme Court to steal elections. There you go. That's the team that won in New York. They think that's going to go nationwide. It's not. We're going to stomp it into the mud because the Democrat Party is now completely divided. Completely divided, and they're not going to win. Here's Stephen Miller on the state of the Democrat Party right now.
The Democrats you grew up with, the Democrats that your mom and dad grew up with, the Democrats that your grandma and grandpa grew up with do not exist anymore at all. Not at any level of government.
No.
A vote for any Democrat anywhere for any office is empowered.
Yeah, if they say they're moderate, they're lying. We learned that from Abigail Scambergler in Virginia.
A party that wants to strip.
I told you this, and the great thing is they expose their flank. So we do what?
This country to the bone, to take away our security, our defense, our way of life. Just Just tonight, Sean, I saw a Democrat member of Congress online defending the Antifa terrorists in Texas who were just jailed for shooting an ICE officer. They shot an ICE officer. They were charged with terrorism, and a Democrat congresswoman was defending the Antifa terrorists.
Yeah, by the way, some Antifa terrorists in Texas, the leader of them got 100 years in prison, and none of them got less than 30 years in prison. This is the end of Antifa. This is the end of the childish temper tantrum they've been throwing for 10 years around the country. On the way, the president addressed the Democrats moving into the communist territory. Also, some inspiring words from Kelsey Grammer as well. And as I said, everything that I thought was going to happen is coming true. We just need to soldier on, overwhelm them with joy and patriotism and faith, and we will drive them into hell where they belong. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson with another great deal from Birch Gold. Buy some gold, put some silver in your pocket. Now, I got to talk now. Pull your head out of the sand. One thing distracted here. Right Hello, Dookie Bear. Out of pocket is... How's it going? Kelsey Grammer was great, by the way. He was on yesterday. He was on Jesse's show last night. He said something really cool. It was really nice. I'm telling you guys, things are happening the way I expected them to happen. And I just had a feeling. There's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why you're here. I didn't just move here. I didn't just move to D.C. I was guided here to D.C. I'm not that important. It's not about me. It's about us. I was guided here. I was going to buy a house in Kansas City, have my daughter live in the basement. I rolled my dice and left everything behind. I have 4 plates and 4 glasses. After 30 years of marriage, I knew I had to be here. I knew you had to be here. It's happening. We are not battle-weary. We are battle-hardened. And now we know who the enemy is. There is no doubt about it at all. No doubt about it at all. Look at all the people watching. My God. Wow. Huge numbers. Hello, Don's YouTube channel, Alpha MAGA Men, June 22nd, wear Trump's makeup to work. You're an idiot. Yeah, you're an idiot. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Alpha MAGA Moron. You've been blocked. You've been blocked. You know, like all the women in your life do. There you go. Bye-bye, Alpha Moron. There we go. We're going to beat you trolls the hell out of here. Hello, War Eagle. What up? Here we go.
Yeah, 320. And John Fredericks next down.
Ew.
There is a virus that has infected a very small number of people, I think, who just want to tear things down.
This is Kelsey Grammer.
They've been consumed by hatred, and of course, hatred ends up basically destroying you.
Yeah, it does.
They're welcome to it. I pray for them. I pray for everyone to find, a decent sentiment in their hearts about this country and about the people who run it these days, and about those who love it, because it's worth loving, and it's great that we're being given this chance to see it in the eyes of so many of our European fellows and South American fellows, and that this whole idea of out of many we are one is one of the greatest things in the world.
Yes, it is.
It's by definition a diverse nation, but we have a unifying concept that everybody's worth reaching for the moon, and America will help you do it.
I think it's a very complicated country, and at this point, I am embarrassed at our government. I don't think that many Americans understand that we are part of a wonderful global community.
No, screw
and when you look at our allies are now giving us a 1-star rating as a country, while I am conflicted about this country because I feel that it is, at this point, a failed experiment.
Really, you live in a gated community and you sit on your ass and talk on a panel and make millions of dollars. How about shut up? Honestly, I'm so done with the Harpies from Hell show. It hasn't lived up to the whatever. You have no clue what you're talking about. They were still whizzing in the streets in Paris after 1,000 years when America came along, and one of our founders discovered electricity. Honestly, we played golf on the moon 50 years ago. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. And we freed the slaves 170 years ago. And we, by the way, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of white people died freeing the slaves. That's never happened in the entire world history. There you go. There you go. Took a guy named Abraham Lincoln, to get the ball rolling on that, because slavery was the way of the world. And honestly, there is I think America is done with her. I think America is done with this nonsense. And I'm telling you guys, there's a reason why I'm here, and it's not about me, it's about us. There's a reason why Donald Trump had an election taken from him in 2020, and now it's the 250th anniversary of our birth, and the Democrat Party can only caterwaul and create violence and destruction and destroy the reflecting pool where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his speech. It was sacred, and they hate Donald Trump so much that they would ruin it. They've had to put a fence around it because of this awful Democrat Party. And I told you that we overwhelm them with joy and faith and patriotism. I will handle the mockery, ridicule, satire, and it's happening. It really is happening. So be joyful. Be positive. Realize that New York, their little 3 victories were a massive miscalculation. The Democrat Party is divided. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount+. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount+.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount+. You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. We've got a lot to get to, including, what do we got here? Who do we got on the show next? Fred Fleitz is going to be joining us to talk about Iran and other stuff. And in the state of Maryland, we're going to have a rematch. Dan Cox, Republican, is going to be running against the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air head, Wes Moore. And I think that Dan has learned much. And I also think that Wes Moore has really bleeped the state up massively. And he is also a liar about his military service. He's a poser. He for instance, says this key bridge over the bay was knocked over by a barge or by a cargo ship, and it fell down like a house of cards. And this Wes Moron, he said, oh yeah, we'll build it $2 million, and he hired $2 billion, and he hired this construction firm. It was up to $9 billion, and they fired the construction firm, and right now it's in limbo, like the high-speed rail in California, while people flee the state because Maryland sucks. No, sorry, Marylanders. I know you love your state, but the people who run it have made it suck. Nobody wants to retire in Maryland anymore. It's a damn shame because Maryland is a beautiful state. I have traveled shore to shore. I've traveled all over Maryland, and I love it. I love it. I've caught crabs in Maryland more times than you can imagine. It's not what you think, Hunter. Anyway, I love me some Maryland. I love me some Balmer. I love me a pit beef sandwich. I love me, one of those. I can't remember the name of the cake, but they make them on an island in Maryland. They're fantastic, and and crab cakes are a gift from God. But Maryland governance are a bunch of friggin' morons, and the liberal Democrats in Maryland are the proverbial frogs in boiling water. Boiling water, as the state sucks. I mean, honestly, drive across the bridge into Virginia, because it's like going into Oz, gleaming buildings, all of this. Maryland is the opposite of that, and it's a real shame. Hopefully, Dan Cox will be able to kick Wes Moore's rear end. He's going to join us later in the radio program. So that's what's coming up. I'm very, in case you didn't know, quite enthusiastic about everything. And I think that there is something happening in the country. I have many reasons in my life to be sad, but I've chosen not to be. I've chosen to embrace the joy. I've chosen to embrace this moment. I was talking to the streamers a few minutes ago. I didn't move here to D.C. I was guided here. I believe that. And this isn't about me. I'm just a tool here for whatever's happening. I'm just an implement. I mean, my wife calls me a tool. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just an implement here. I am here to bring this place to you, and great things are happening in the 250th anniversary of the country's birth, despite the vampires of the left screeching and crying and trying to destroy the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial. I mean, wow. And then screeching about everything, because Donald Trump is this and that, no king's temper tantrums, and Elon Musk is a Nazi, burned down his dealerships, and caterwauling left and right, and whining about the open border being closed, and whining about everything. You're on the losing end, Democrats. You are on the losing end, and you are descending into hell. And I ain't going to extend a hand to you. I'm done with y'all. Done. Yeah, I said with y'all. I did. I know. I'm Midwestern. I'm colloquial, so I can get away with that stuff. I'm not like Hillary Clinton talking about hot sauce and all of that, and then going, Barack Obama, living in Hawaii, and all of a sudden getting all, brother and everything. I can say with y'all, because, had my butt in the tractor seat for a while. All right, let's... Oh, here we go. This is what the Democrats are doing. So they're redoing the reflecting pool on the National Mall. It's a glorious place, man. And, I've been coming here I've lived here 12 years now. I've been here another year, so 13 years. It never loses its luster. I took a black woman to the Lincoln Memorial a couple weeks ago. She's lived in the United States since 1991. She'd never been, and I watched her ascend those stairs and stand before that statue of Abraham Lincoln and then go in and read the words of the Gettysburg Address with tears in her eyes. She came from Sierra Leone. She was a Democrat. She was someone who knocked on doors for Joe Biden and Barack Obama, and when she decided to become a Republican after Democrats online celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination, she said, "That's it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore." And she went into the open arms of the Republican Party, and she was greeted with joy like FIFA fans in cities around the country from countries abroad, because Americans who are truly Americans and patriotic love other people and welcome them into the fold. Do you know what the Democrat Party did? They called her the N-word. Even the white people did. Oh, they did all sorts of awful things to her. I've heard about it. We'll share someday. We'll have her on the air to talk about it. She's going to be a force in the Republican Party in the state of Maryland. There you go. Jesse Waters on the, and it is happening despite Whoopi Goldberg saying otherwise. They're vandalizing the reflecting pool.
Incident 1, June 9th. A week after they started filling it with water, the report says someone slashed a 20-foot section of the liner overnight. Razor blade slashes.
Yeah.
The New York Times described them as two 171-foot blade cuts.
That's the New York Times.
They also ripped the fence tops off and threw them into the pool.
Wow.
Then, June 19th, a witness watched a man record
I believe that's Juneteenth.
himself on his phone while ripping the liner with his bare hands.
Yeah.
A Park Service employee told him to stop. He said they were, quote, awfully sensitive about the pool and kept going.
Yeah, because it's sacred.
The National Guard had to physically stop him. When they searched him, his hands and gloves were wet. He was charged with 4 counts.
Yeah.
Turns out that suspect is the Olympian who says he did nothing wrong.
I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, so I had no reason to think I was going to be arrested, but I suggested we walk over toward the park police rather than waiting for them to come to us, and went over and furnished my ID, and kind of before I knew it, I was being handcuffed.
Bye.
And realized I was being arrested.
He's a longtime Democrat donor.
Yeah.
Gave money to Obama and ActBlue.
Yeah.
Arrested by park police once before, back in '96. And now he has a GoFundMe and a lawyer who just happened to have prosecuted Trump in the first impeachment.
There you go. I'm sorry, who is on the hotline? Well, John, can he wait? Because I'm only going to give him 2 minutes before the break. So can he wait after the break? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Here is some of the idiot children. They're not running. I'm going to call the Democrat Daycare 3. Those are the 3 who won in New York yesterday. So Democrat Daycare 3 is what we're going to call them. But here's some idiots down by the wet reflecting pool with no jobs cheering on the algae.
Oh, she is doing good today, honey. Team algae, we're sweethearts. Everybody's proud of you.
Just give them a little shove. Just get a little shove and then run off in the other direction. Here is an MS Now guest, some idiot, saying that because Donald Trump has brought in the National Guard to protect the reflecting pool, kids can't splash around it anymore. Here's the thing. Kids could never splash around in it and never have.
I'm sorry for these National Guards who should be home with their families.
No, you're not, because you didn't want the National Guard in D.C. You said they were going to kill people.
And their friends, and they're still here as a part of Trump's political game that he's playing because they don't need to be here.
It's not a political game. He brought down crime 60%. It's safe to live here. You moron.
But we're seeing this decriminalization and the slippery slope to authoritarianism. But this is what it looks like.
Not one little bit.
Right. Like all of a sudden, something that you played in, something that when I came to visit Washington, I also played, splashed around in.
No, you didn't.
All of a sudden, that's a crime. And so we're going to have a kid who's splashing around in a pool in Washington, D.C., like thousands of kids do all the time. We're going to put them in handcuffs?
Yeah, we're gonna put kids in handcuffs who splash around in swimming pools. You don't splash around in the reflecting pool, you moron.
That's, to me, is the ultimate sort of symbol of how this country has fallen into disrepair and authoritarianism.
Hold on. He says that the country's fallen into disrepair when we're cleaning it up. I mean, oh, you guys are so just done. You just don't know it. Your network, your movement are dead, and you just don't bloody know about it. Here's Benny Thompson. Remember when the National Guard soldier got murdered by an Afghani who came here in December? I was going to the Newsmax studio that day, and Benny Thompson called it an unfortunate accident.
You did. Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident.
It was a murder.
It was a murder. National Guardsman.
It was a murder.
Being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can.
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
He tried to get away with something.
Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question?
Yeah, ask your question, you moron. And by the way, the reason why that National Guard woman was murdered because the Democrat Party called our National Guard Nazis for moving in and making the city safe. I see them all the time, and I thank them, whether they're from Mississippi, South Carolina, wherever they are from. And by the way, an interesting note, when I went down to the reflecting pool 2 weeks ago, I rolled up on the National Guard. They're from Mississippi. You want to know the name of the man, the first person I met from Mississippi? Presley. And yes, he's related. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
FM in Harford County.
Got a rejoin.
Dig it.
Donald Trump's election. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
It is the Rob Carson Show. We are joined by a special guest who is also headquartered in Washington, D.C., making a massive impact on the John Fredericks radio network. John Fredericks joins us from the heart of the swamp. How are you doing this glorious Wednesday, my friend?
Hey, Rob, thanks for having me here just live at the Capitol with the president just had his luncheon with key Senate members. A couple of big updates right off the bat. One of the things he said, I'll get to the election last night where Madami won his 3 seats. We're about to get a communist mayor in Washington, D.C., get another one in Los Angeles. President Trump saying that when asked about the election, saying that the communists have taken over the Democratic Party, lock, stock, and barrel, and that he's not going to let the communists take over the country. He's going to fight them tooth and nail.
Good.
So that was on that. He had a signing today at the White House for the housing bill. The White House press pool informed us that the president has canceled that signing today. That is canceled, and he said he's not going to sign that or anything else until the Senate passes the SAVE Act.
Boom.
Obviously, he needs 60 votes. He's got 53. So the Democrats going crazy over it. So are some Republicans. But that signing of the Housing Act is canceled today. So there'll be no signing of that in the White House. In the interim, this morning, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson called the president and told him very specifically that he was going to put the SAVE Act inside the reconciliation. He's going to call it Reconciliation 3.0 to try to get it that way in order to get the 50 votes which he needs. However, the parliamentarian of the Senate has ruled the last time that bill was not a revenue-type bill, so it couldn't go in. And so she has ruled against it before. They're going to take another shot at it. But now what some people are calling John Thune to do, who will not get rid of the filibuster, what they're calling John Thune to do is get rid of the parliamentarians. So that's where we are right now.
Wow. It's a big deal. I got to tell you, I'm actually kind of thrilled with what happened in New York last night. We got rid of Dan Goldman, and we've got 3 communists who are not going to win. The Democrat Party is divided. There's no way in the 250th anniversary of the year of the birth of the nation and the wave of patriotism that's happened that communism is going to take over the country. And if anything, I think it makes things look even better than we thought they did in November. What do you think?
Listen, I'm still bullish. I believe the Republicans are going to win the House. I'm the only guy in media. You and I are probably saying that for the last, 8 months. Once they lost those 4 seats in Virginia and the 8 seats in redistricting, they're down 12 from what they thought they were. And they continue to put up basically communist candidates in some of these swing districts. And they can't get away from that. They got 4 seats in Pennsylvania that they're targeting. 2 in Virginia. They're not going to win either one of Virginia. If they win one of them in Pennsylvania, they're lucky. I think they're probably going to go 0 for 4. So the math for them is not there, and they're just putting up whack job candidates one after the other. I think with gas prices going down, with the Strait open, you heard today that more oil has got through there yesterday than was going through there prior to the war. So. Also, in another key development, Rob, I know you got to go. In another key development, the president asked the Department of Justice today to look into price gouging by oil companies because he's concerned about the not movement of the price of gas going down and believes that oil companies are gouging Americans.
It is unbelievable. Also, some things happening. I thought about coming down for the National State Fair tonight. Donald Trump going to be delivering an address down there. Have you seen the setup down there on the National Mall with regard to this fair, sir?
Yeah, I've not seen it yet, but almost every state is represented. I heard it's going to be one of the most beautiful things you've ever witnessed. It's going on for a month. There's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of fun, a lot of people coming into, what is now the safest, most beautiful, cleanest city in America.
I know.
Due to President Trump.
Yeah, they're also doing the projection on the Washington Monument again, I believe July 1st through the 4th. And if you haven't seen that, brother, it is it's just stunning. It's just breathtaking. It's amazing on the heels of the UFC fight, which was absolutely breathtaking. The left can do all they want. They're trying to destroy the reflecting pool. They put a fence around that. They're not going to win, John.
Well, Rob, I don't want to make you jealous, but we could see the monument lights out of our living room window.
Where are you going to see the fireworks? And am I going to be invited?
Rob, you're always invited to anything I do. We got to get together. I want to do a town hall meeting in D.C. with John McGuire.
Let's do
I'm
it.
going to get with you later on today to get that done.
I love it.
And, so noon to 3, Rob Carson on the John Fredericks Media Network, Fluffing the Truth along with me across America. By the way, your ratings are up. Your show's doing great. It's an honor to be on, Rob.
Oh, brother, I can't tell you what it means to be partnered with you. You are the only person who works harder than me and James Brown every single day, bro. I've never seen anybody work harder than you. You make it happen because you do it. JohnFredericksRadio.com, JohnFredericksRadio.com. God bless you, brother. Thanks for checking in today. I appreciate you.
Rob, thanks. Have a great day.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. Buying gold. How about to put some silver in your pocket? I know what you're thinking. Everything is expensive right now. But if you've got an old 401k to just laying there like Joe Biden or my ex-wife, on a lawn chair, you can convert that into physical gold. How about that? Do it with Birch Gold. You know why I suggest Birch Gold? Because they got my money. They got my money. I took that 401k that was doing nothing. I got it to the Birch Gold people on with my 401k people, and they got it in one phone call. They said, here it is, and they transferred the money, and I'm going to let it ride, baby. I'm going to let it ride. Right now, you can get a free 1-ounce silver round, 250th anniversary of American commemorative silver round for every $10,000 you invest in Birch Gold. Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of free America 250 silver with a qualifying purchase before July the 10th, which will be here in no time. Again, text Rob to the number 989898 for Birch Gold. On the way. It's just so guest heavy today. My gosh, it's fantastic. Fred Fleitz, former NSA Chief of Staff, senior fellow America First Policy Institute, to talk about what's going on with Iran and other things on the Rob Carson Show. If I were you, I wouldn't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
When you're a man who calls himself a girl, it can be a bonus. When you compete with women, you have to hide. Ooh, that pair of cojones. I can cycle against the girls, that's my choice. I can steal their medals with this manly voice, 'cause the left makes me feel. The left makes me feel. The left makes me feel like a transgender woman. When I compete with females, I'm the one that's feared, 'cause I'm the only person in the race with a beard. But somehow I feel the left makes me feel they make me feel like a transgender woman.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Ghost Bed. I love my Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you're already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's exactly why I switched to Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed keeps you cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support. Less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is offering my audience an extra 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to around $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free. Free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I take Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I'm able to crush it at the gym and ride 30 miles on a mountain bike on Saturday mornings. Relief Factor. It's 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from inside out at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. To commemorate, they're offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. Yeah, your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com or 800-4-RELIEF. Hey, by the way, respect greatly with regard to foreign policy. I want to hear, this is from Mark Rudy of NATO.
European allies pre-positioning their assets close to the strait, so to be able to help, for example, when it comes to demining. What you see here, Brett, is really the President of the United States not only being the President of the United States, he is more than that. He is also the leader of the free world. We will have in 2 weeks a summit in Ankara with the 32 allies plus 10 other nations. So in total 42 nations representing a combined economy of 70 trillion. That's 2.5 the size of the American economy, being led by this president as leader of the free world. They want to follow him on this, and I'm absolutely sure that where the G7 was a big success, also in Ankara we will see these 42 countries coming to join conclusion.
Well, I'll tell you what, Fred Flight, sounds like a whole lot of ring kissing going on around the world now that Donald Trump is kind of reaching an agreement with Iran and whatnot. What are your thoughts, man?
It's great to be here. Rutte is an interesting guy.
Yeah.
The Europeans are generally so hostile towards Trump, and he's consistently been pretty fair.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he hasn't always been positive, but I thought that was a good assessment. What I thought was interesting from him, from the head of the IAEA, is that although the Iranians keep claiming nothing's been agreed to in these talks and they're not going to let inspectors into Iran, the Iranians lie. They agree to things in private, and then publicly they lie about it.
I know.
And I think this has to be pointed out to the American people. CNN goes right out, and they report the Iranian lie to make it look like the Trump administration is lying. But I don't know if this is propaganda or they're just trolling Trump. But I think the American people have to realize that nothing the Iranians say publicly can be trusted.
What is remarkable is that our media, since day one of Operation Epic Fury, have taken the word of the Iranians who killed 40,000 of their own people, minimum, for protesting over this administration.
I mean, it's just shameful. I mean, there's nothing Trump can do that they're going to give him credit for. They're not going to believe anything his people say. But look, these negotiations are difficult. The Iranian government is broken. It's fighting with itself. It does agree to things and then goes back on what it agreed to. But on some of these things, the Iranian officials actually did agree to them, and the agreement is still standing, even though publicly they're claiming they didn't agree to it.
I wonder if they're trying to maintain some level of power, I guess, in their country. Do you suppose they're playing to their citizenry who are on the... I mean, they're on the verge of revolt. They're on the verge of taking up arms and killing the IRGC remnants. Do you suppose that they're trying to save their own rear ends and act like... Of course, that... Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's mostly for domestic consumption. I think that the negotiators are afraid of the IRGC. But they also like humiliating Trump and trying to get Trump to be criticized. And so it's just a shameful way of operating. If we're trying to end this war, these Iranian officials are making it a lot harder.
Don't they realize that Donald Trump doesn't get humiliated? He doesn't. He does not get humiliated. It's not. He's the Teflon Don when it comes to stuff like this. It just doesn't happen. I wanted you to hear the words. I respect KT McFarland a good deal. She was on Newsmax the other night talking about, Iran getting money, kind of a Marshall Plan coming from other Gulf states, and if and when and how the money will be controlled.
No, because of the way they're opening the money. So we're going to be able to watch where the money goes.
Yeah.
Cleverly, because we're now letting them sell and buy in dollars, those goes through American banks. We can see where the money goes, how much money they're getting. Before, with the shadow fleets, it was a black hole. We didn't know where the money was going. So if they say, we're going to use our money to rebuild hospitals, but in fact they're going to use their money to send to Hezbollah and rebuild missiles, we'll see where that money goes. And then what do? We can shut down that whole money train just as quickly as we turned it on.
It's hard for us to trust anyone because for 47 years we've had abject failure with regard to Iran. I even have had a difficult time giving the president of the doubt, the benefit of the doubt as this ceasefire continued. But I'm willing to do that. What do you think about this, about people investing in Iran rather than just giving money to Iran?
I'm skeptical about what he just said. I hope there's a way to restrict when the assets are unfrozen, when sanctions are lifted. It'd be nice if we could restrict the way the Iranian government spends its money, but money is fungible.
Who has ever applied the military...
Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Yeah, I understand your skepticism because they can't be trusted.
I will add this. It's hard to restrict what they spend their money on in their country. But if it is this $300 billion investment fund, I think we can have accountability. And when I say we, I don't mean the United States provided the money, but the U.S. should insist to the Gulf states that provide this money. There has to be strings attached on where it goes. The checks have to be written to rebuild bridges and infrastructure and desalination plants. But when we release their assets, whether it's in dollars or not, we're not really going to have any ability to control how the Iranian government spends those funds.
Here is Chuck DeVore talking about the difference between Reagan and Trump with regard to Iran. Here it is.
Who has ever applied the military force to create the conditions for successful negotiations like President Trump has? Jesse, when I was a 25-year-old Reagan appointee in the Pentagon, this is 39 years ago, I was part of a war game that looked into what we would do to open the strait when we started to escort Kuwaiti tankers. This was in the middle of the Iran-Iraq war. They were shooting at tankers. Both countries were. And I was part of a team that had a more robust response. The other team was State Department led, and they had this tit-for-tat proportional response. At the end of this simulation, Jesse, our team had 1/30 the casualties of the State Department team. Well, Reagan used our plan, and that's what turned into Operation Praying Mantis in 1988. Now, to put that into perspective, what Trump did to Iran was about 300 times the force that Reagan applied.
So what he has done, as far as applying force to Iran, is unprecedented. The Navy is underwater. The military-industrial complex is in shambles. The economy is dead. Inflation is 300%. Don't you suppose conditions are favorable for something really good to come out of this?
I think so, and that puts the lie to these claims by congressional Democrats in the media that we're ending the war and Trump didn't accomplish anything, or that what Trump accomplished is the same as what Obama accomplished. No, it's not. Iran has been destroyed. Its military has been destroyed. Its capability to make missiles has been destroyed. Its nuclear infrastructure has been destroyed. It's significantly weaker than it was before. Trump accomplished a lot. Getting these stubborn Islamists to get to a final agreement, that's proven hard, but that doesn't mean that they still have been defeated, even though they claim they haven't been.
Well, even last Friday, last week, the memorandum of understanding, everybody's heads exploded. I had people who I've had on the air for years, Brigitte Gabriel, my God, the worst thing in the world. That seems to have calmed down a little bit. What do you think about that?
Well, it's an imperfect deal, but it's a necessary deal. And I explained this in an American Greatness piece I ran last Friday. Trump has to end the war. Yeah. And there will be some concessions made, like releasing assets, lifting sanctions that are necessary to get the war to end. Trump said this would not be a quagmire, would not be a long-term operation. I think ultimately the way to solve this is that the Iranian people have to take back their country.
Amen, brother.
I also wrote, there's a very good chance that whatever the Iranians agree to, they're going to violate it and resume their nuclear program. So the U.S. and Israel have to be prepared, if that happens, to mow the grass.
Hell yeah.
To destroy those structures as soon as the Iranians start to rebuild.
Hell yeah. Fred Flights, I want to continue the conversation on the other side. I want you to hear your thoughts on Keir Starmer resigning and what the future holds for Great Britain, if you don't mind. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt. I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority.
Well, if you talk about tone deaf, the Labour Party is all of the things that he just said it was, and now he's no longer the Prime Minister. He's going to be leaving very soon. I'm curious as to what Fred Fleitz, the senior fellow at the American First Policy Institute, by the way, has to say about Starmer's departure. What do you think, Fred?
Good riddance.
Hell yeah.
Sanctimonious, woke, obnoxious. I'm so tired of hearing him. Whenever President Trump would make a decision, we'd hear some ridiculous, stuck-up statement from Starmer. Good luck. But, he's going to be replaced by a guy named Andy Berner, another member of the Labor Party. The problem isn't just Starmer. It's the policies of this liberal, woke party that is in serious trouble with the British people. Unfortunately, they're in power until 2029. Nothing's going to get better in the UK as long as the Labour Party's running the country and they have a solid hold over the House of Parliament.
Well, there's going to have to be some sort of a uprising, and I believe we're bordering on that right now. To be quite honest, I'll just be quite honest. I think the British people are sick and damn tired of it. I think that you see this unbelievable story of 250,000 white women in Great Britain raped and trafficked by Pakistani Islamists. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think that the outrage is just beginning. I could be wrong.
There's just out-of-control immigration, mostly of military-aged men from the Middle East, and they are destroying the UK. And the Labour Party doesn't want to fix it, and it's still not going to fix it under this new leader. You see these overloaded boatloads of immigrants coming across English Channel. They could be stopped by the British government, but they won't stop them. Instead, the British government is persecuting people who say politically incorrect things online. That's their priority, not protecting the British people from people who are not fleeing persecution. They're just coming to the UK to change the UK, to change civilization.
I had heard the possibility of calling for an election before 2029. Is that Nigel Farage is talking about? Is there a way that something like that could happen to usher in new leadership, that the Labour Party could be driven for power? Not possible.
No, because they have the majority.
Okay.
That's just the way the system operates. Mm-hmm. There can be new elections held at any time whenever the Prime Minister, who represents the majority, decides to have them. And they'd be foolish to have elections before then because their party's so unpopular.
Well, the Conservatives also, I believe, if I'm mistaken, are divided in three ways. I was speaking to Hillary Fordwich about that the other day. It's a complicated situation. Something's going to have to be done, and I have the feeling that the British people, something's going to happen. I don't think they're going to wait around. Some earthquake is going to happen.
It does worry me that the Conservatives are divided, and that may allow the Labour Party to stay in power. I hope they unite.
Hopefully they get behind Farage. I'm a big fan of Farage. So what do you think about the Democrat Party? The Democrat Party, I wouldn't say has been wholesale overtaken by the communists, but they are a house divided.
It's just amazing to see the socialist candidates winning and seem to have all the energy. And I saw a victory rally for one of the candidates who won in New York, and Hakeem Jeffries came on the screen to congratulate them, and they were all saying, "You're next."
Yeah. Listen to I want you to listen to this. Is Cory Booker? He is in denial.
Given that, what did you make of your fellow Democratic Senator John Fetterman today when he was asked about these New York primaries? He said the dirtbag left is surging, I believe is how he described it.
Again, for me, if you want to heal a country, you can't be picking fights. I think we need to understand that our party is not homogenous. One of the things that makes the Democratic Party great is it's a big tent party.
Yeah, but they're kicking the old school Democrats out of the tent, right?
No, they're kicking the Jews out of the town.
Dude, you know what? And listen, nothing more chilling than Dan Goldman being kicked out of a coffee house in New York because he's a Jew, and then 3 anti-Semite socialists being elected, right?
Goldman is such an obnoxious,
I know,
Trump-hating liberal. The fact that he's not far left enough, well, the fact that he favors Israel, he doesn't like Netanyahu, he doesn't like the war in Iran, but he's Jewish and he's pro-Israel, so they threw him out.
Wow.
It's astounding.
It is astounding, and it's also terrifying because if I'm not mistaken, the last time a party really leaned into socialism and anti-Semitism, it didn't end very well in Germany. And I do mean that with all of my heart. They have not learned from history, and they possess the same hatred of the Jewish state. They want it erased. There is no doubt about this. And the mayor of New York City is an Islamist first. He is an Islamist first, but I don't think it's going to go very far nationally, Fred Flights. I appreciate you being on the show today. Fred, you're on Twitter at Fred Flights. Where else can people find your glorious work, sir?
Well, check out my website that talks about my new book on the North Korean nuclear program, fredflights.com.
Let's have you on to talk about the book next week, okay? fredflights.com. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson with another great. Let me talk to you guys. Hello. We're having a hell of a show today, aren't we? Pat Carr, yes we are. FDR was a Nazi. No, I don't think he was a Nazi. Don't be name calling like that. Rob Carson, please ask Chris to add a live chat to Newsmax shows. Carl, read some emails. I'll tell the powers that be if I can. I know they're watching right now. Redneck MacGyver is watching right now. Great guest, Rob. Mick Redchester says. I know they kicked that today, didn't they? I like to use guests. I like to get their knowledge. I like to get inside their heads. And, man, there have been some good ones today. I thought Doug Burns was spectacular in the first hour. Scott Davies. Yeah, New York and Seattle will be falling. They've already fallen. They're already falling. Mitch McConnell not voting hospitalized. Oh, yeah. Mitch McConnell's on his he's not going to be around much longer. He's not going to be around much longer. Duh. Should we play a song parody here? What do I got here? What do I got from... All right, I got to talk here, guys. Apologize. I got to talk. Here we go. I got something really fun coming up next hour. Here we go.
320.
When the Democrats aren't nominating communists, they're nominating psychotic soy boys who believe God is non-binary and there are 6 genders.
And that's, I always think of myself as a...
And he also hates Christianity.
Christian who hates Christianity, yep. Right? And I always get drawn back into it.
It's so weird. This guy is just so weird.
Yeah.
And seeing that he's a Christian who hates Christianity, I think pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
I know this is a guy who believes that men ought to be playing women's sports and men ought to be in women's locker rooms. I guess maybe we read a different Bible. I'm pretty sure the Bible says that male and female, God created them, and he saw that it was good. There's not 200 genders. There's 2.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with being a woman or being a man.
No.
And I just think this guy, he's got to be the weirdest Senate candidate out there this year for the Democrats, and that is really saying something.
My imagination is also just limited by my own background and identity, right? My whiteness, my masculinity, all
you have no masculinity.
Those things limit my imagination about what's possible. So I have to continually press against that to try to expand the limits of what I'm dreaming of for our community.
Community.
And that's where, Dr. Rob, in your book helps me do that. And podcasts like this help me do that.
Yeah. He hates Christianity. He's not going to be elected in Texas.
Tallarico's a fake. He has too much to take. A Christian claims to be
Jim Gossett,
but he just got through bashing Christianity.
He's a genius.
It's not breaking news. He's got whacked out views.
Jim Gossett.
And it is plain to see.
Come on.
That he has real contempt for Christianity.
And his sexuality.
He insists that 6 genders exist. Says God's non-binary.
Yeah, he's nuts.
And that he isn't fond of Christianity. They must vote him down.
Wow.
They don't need this clown.
Oh, my God.
Listen to our plea. Don't want a critic of it. Christianity.
Yeah, there you go. That's your Democrat Party. They're freaking completely off their rockers. Just completely opera. Here is Ben Domenech talking about the Democrat Party.
These people are crazy. They are crazy. They want to burn down everything that makes America great.
I know.
They also want to burn down, by the way, everything that would pay for the different things that they want about America. You look at the billionaire tax in California. It's like you want to destroy the very thing that you're also asking to pay for all of these different, unicorn fart kind of things that you're offering to the American people. And look, when it comes to these candidates, I think that they're terrible. I think.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely terrible. Graham Plattner, James Talafrico, the Daycare 3 in New York. That's the Democrat Party. That's the best they have to offer. We are going to destroy them in the midterms. Now we know who we're fighting. Now we know what we're up against, and we will win. Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
This is the right choice for Maryland.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. And I'll tell you, thus far, it's been a blockbuster program. We had Doug Burns on in the first hour for half an hour talking about all the Supreme Court cases coming down this week. We had John Fredericks from downtown D.C. Talking about a number of things, including this affordable housing bill being held up until Donald Trump gets the SAVE Act passed. Yay, it's about damn time. America wants voter ID, despite Democrats desperately screeching to try to keep elections unfair toward Democrats because they're rigging them. They are. And please, don't even insult my intelligence by saying they're not. And then, of course, just talked to Fred Fleitz about Iran and Keir Starmer. And this is a hell of a show today. New comedy from Jim Gossett, the whole deal. Just download the podcast if you missed a single bit of it. Just download the podcast. Any one of your podcast platforms, go to Spotify, click on the little bell, ding, subscribe, all of that. Do what you do. And then also, we have the stream on Newsmax social media. You can see the video of this glorious face on all of Newsmax social media. It stays up there forever. There you go. And what a show we are having. A lot of stuff. You know what I think I'm going to do right now? I'm going to start out with a little bit of good news. And you know when I do good news, I play everybody's favorite jingle. You know what it is.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning, 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 lots of winning. It's oh so good.
Yeah, here's some good news out of Tejas. Yeah, a bunch of Antifa punks. These little chihuahuas on the other side of the fence from the pit bull who yipe and yipe and yipe, and they hurl bricks at police, and they've caused countless damage to federal courthouses and, of course, the United States as a whole. And you don't mess with Texas because it looks like a whole bunch of them have been sentenced to a combined 450 years in federal prison.
8 defendants convicted in the Prairieland ICE Detention Center attack case will be sentenced today in federal court in Fort Worth. So far, only 3 have learned their fates. Benjamin Song was sentenced to 100 years in prison. Cameron Arnold and Zachary Evans were both sentenced to 50 years. Whoa. It comes more than 3 months after a federal jury found the group guilty following a 12-day trial stemming from an incident last July 4th outside the detention center in Alvarado. 8 defendants were convicted of charges including rioting, providing material support to terrorists, and explosives-related offenses. Benjamin Song was also convicted of attempted murder in the shooting of an Alvarado police lieutenant. The others face possible sentences ranging from 10 years to life.
There you go. Bye-bye, you little B-words, you little punks. You've been doing this for a decade, and guess what? The bleep ends now. It ends now. I've said for a decade now, the toddlers need a spanking. Well, they just got one. Spend the rest of your bloody life in prison, you purple-haired, gauged ear, nose ring morons. 8 members, North Texas Antifa terror cell. Prison sentences ranging from 30 years to life. Judge Mark Pittman sentenced ringleader Benjamin Song to 100 years. You got Marcela Rueda, 70 years. Elizabeth Soto, 50 years. Because of the large number of defendants, Chief District Judge Reed O'Connor simultaneously sentenced 4 additional convicts in a separate room. Cameron Arnold, known as Autumn Hill, 50 years in prison. Yay. We'll see you in 2076. Oh, my God, it's going to be bad. You're going to be getting out on the 300th anniversary of the United States. Wow, have fun in the Stony Lonesome. Yeah, have Stony down there. Zachary Evans, we'll see you in the 300th anniversary of the country. Savannah Button, 50 years in prison. Daniel Rolando Sanchez Estrada, Mexican national, 30 years in prison. Oh, it's so fantastic. This is the first federal Antifa terrorism trial in U.S. history. Jurors found the defendants guilty of offenses including providing material support to terrorists, rioting, conspiracy involving explosives and related crimes. The adults are in charge now. Joe Biden is not in charge anymore. Now you're going to get your rear ends handed to you. I love this. Rot in prison. One of the co-defendants, Lynette Sharp, told jurors that members trained together with firearms, coordinated through encrypted signal chats. Evidence introduced at trial showed their members operated under aliases and carefully planned the direct action. This is also going to end all this No Kings nonsense and all of this Soros-funded bullcrap. This song is going to be singing in prison for 100 years. He'll be there for the 350th anniversary of America. That's going to be fantastic. There'll be fireworks, I'm sure. Song acquired 11 firearms, distributed them among members of the group before the operation. The group used explosive fireworks to lure federal agents and facility personnel from the detention center before opening fire. They found a cache of weapons, ammunition, and electronic devices discovered in Faraday bags designed to block signals, by the way. Defense attorneys argued the direct action was a protest and that the shooting was not planned. Now, the violence was planned. Same goes with Minneapolis. Give me a frickin' break. It's not a protest, it's a riot. It's an insurrection. In addition to their federal conditions, the 16 convicted defendants and 6 additional co-defendants will face separate state charges in Johnson County, including allegations of domestic terrorism, conspiracy, and attempted murder, which could even put you there at the 350th and 400th anniversary of the country. Bye. Oh, remember when the Antifa, when the media just a few years ago said that Antifa didn't exist?
There's no Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
Like, I don't even know what Antifa is. There is no group.
It's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa...
Every one of these people should be ashamed to show their faces again. But you see, they have no shame.
...linked violence is rare and limited.
It isn't an organization. It is a in many ways, mythology.
It's not like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers.
Yeah, the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers didn't do anything compared to these morons.
Defined terrorist organizations with leadership that leads violence. It's not a highly organized movement. It's a moniker.
Oh, that's Joy Behag.
It's not a unified group like the Proud Boys are.
Things like Antifa.
Oh, there's whoopee.
Things that are thought up.
It's all in this guise of going after Antifa, which is nothing. There's no organization called Antifa.
Nobody's a member of Antifa because it doesn't exist. They are just declaring into existence something that doesn't exist.
There is no Antifa.
That's Dan Goldman, the last. He doesn't have a job in Congress anymore. He bedded down with the radical left. He's a Jewish guy. This week, he was defeated by an anti-Semite, and he was kicked out of a coffee shop in New York because he's a Jew who supports Israel. That should put a chill up your spine. That should put a chill up your spine. We're going to beat this. And the media then, of course, not too long after denying it existed, defended it.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal.
That's Chris Cuomo. He's a meathead moron.
Morally, in the eyes of the law, yes. But in the eyes of good and evil, here's the argument.
They are strictly principled anti-fascists. And what they see
they are defending Antifa.
Trump administration and what they see happening in this country, they see the neo-fascism that we see. And they've taken a principled...
There's no fascism at all. You're full of crap. You made it up.
...stand against white supremacists.
Oh, yeah, white supremacists. Southern Poverty Law Center lie.
White nationalists, wherever they may show up.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they're...
That's Don Lemon. He doesn't have a job either.
They're fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Yeah, they murder a few people. They burn some cities and stuff. They're good people.
I think that a lot of people recognize that when pushed, self-defense is a legitimate response to white supremacist and neo-Nazi violence.
The problem is to equate the violence in reaction against bigotry with the bigotry itself is to misunderstand.
Oh, you've been wrong about everything. Oh, you just were wrong about every damn thing. Shame on you. I would say shame on you, but you have no shame. You people have no bloody shame. My God, you've been wrong about everything. Absolutely everything. I might play something uplifting. Do you want to hear something uplifting? Let's hear for some more people who come to America for the FIFA tournament and love America. By the way, I was at a place last night. It was Taco Tuesday, and there were some guys sitting there watching soccer, and they were Americans, and they really love soccer. And they're talking about if the U.S. men's team could win the World Cup this year, it would be such a gigantic shift in America. But the great thing about this is so many people are coming to America, and all those idiots you just heard who hate America and believe Antifa is better and all that crap, the people who are coming here from other countries love America. Here is a German girl talking about how friendly girls are here, and then a British guy talking about the awesomeness of America.
Went into a club in the bathroom, and 5 strangers told me how gorgeous I am. They fixed my hair, they offered me gum. You know, in Germany, we don't even make eye contact. And here, like...
She's in the bathroom in a club, and there wasn't even a woman there with a penis.
American girls,
crazy.
You raise my self-esteem. I love you. It's so fun.
There's something nobody's telling you. And frankly, I feel a moral obligation to step in. Yeah. You think you're going there for soccer? No, you're not. Because the moment you land in America is when it starts. Americans will tell you, you got to try this local place. Then it's barbecue. Then it's burgers. Yeah. Then it's tacos. Yeah. Then somebody introduces you to biscuits and gravy. Oh, trust me, you'll never want to leave. Every city has its own food. Every state has different food. Yeah. And every American has a recommendation. So my advice to Europeans is simple. Be prepared.
Be prepared, because America is frickin' awesome. And these lefty Americans who hate America are wrong. Don't think that this isn't happening for a reason. Don't think that Donald Trump as the president. Don't think that that the FIFA being here. Don't think it's the 250th anniversary of the world. Don't think that peace coming to the Middle East and Iran being driven from power, the mullahs, the terrorists being driven from power. Don't think this is by accident. This is the reaction to the action of evil that had taken over the world that I portended years ago. There you go. I know it sounds kind of conspiratorial and Bigfoot UFO kind of stuff, but it's not. It's absolutely totally real. Totally real. Love it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat.
Duh.
Voted against proof of citizenship. They voted against no tax on Social Security. They voted against no tax on tips. They voted against no tax on overtime. And if they got into office, you will have all of those taxes and all of that money that you're saving, including the big savings on Social Security. It's going to all be terminated.
Yeah.
This country has gotten very strange politically, especially with all the communists that are up for election. You know, you have communists. These aren't socialists. These are communists. And now if you look at New York, we have all communists running. They're all excited.
We can put our bodies in the way of the deportation machine. Because we want babies? Because we want to abolish? And because we want housing?
Solidarity is the energy we need to fight Trump's fascism. To abolish ICE. To stand up to the billionaires.
Yeah, the Daycare 3 won last night in New York. Here is Scott Jennings talking about them thinking they have the wind at their backs.
I agree with. They're going to feel like they have the wind at their back. You're going to see Mamdani inspire candidacies across the country. You already are. Michigan is a great example. There's a Senate primary going on there, and I think Abdul El Sayed is ahead in that. He has a great chance to win. He's exactly like these socialist candidates in New York City. It's not just confined to a few districts here. It is spreading already, and if they win, you're going to see this inspiration for these kinds of candidacies across the country. The implications for the Democratic Party out there for 2028 are vast.
Mm-hmm. Here is Stephen A. Smith. Now, he and I don't agree on many things, and generally I say he should stick to sports because a lot of the times when he steps into politics, his opinions are not quite, pretty off. Pretty off, actually. Not on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zoran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that.
I don't like him.
If the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance.
Mm-hmm.
You have no chance. On a national basis in terms of the presidency.
Nope.
In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance. You have no chance. I want to be very, very clear about that. You might have a Democratic Socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is.
That's right.
America's about capitalism.
Come on.
America's about dollars and cents.
Come on.
America's about an economy, a flourishing economy. Okay? And you know what it's not about? Free stuff. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
There you go.
Somebody got to say it, so.
Yeah, he just did, and I appreciate you for saying it because you know what? You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Here is Jason Rantz. Jason Rantz has a talk show in Seattle, and this insufferable cat lady. I don't know what her name is. She's blonde on CNN. I mean, she's like, if you dated her, you would wake up to the smell of a bunny boiling on the stove. You would. She's nuts. Here's Jason.
Districts where Republicans aren't running, like Republicans don't lose anything tonight in these districts, but they are going to be dealing with some of these far left candidates in, say, Maine. I mean, to come up for Congressman Golden's position, you guys put someone very far to the left, and that's now going to go into the Republican camp. We're going to pick that seat up. But when you're going
I
into
don't think
moderate,
you will, my friend. I think that's the thing. You guys
here comes meow, 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 meow. Here comes crazy cat lady.
keep putting out all these scary terms. No, we've heard all this anti-Semitism, and
yeah, because they're anti-Semitic, you jerk.
Anti-Semites. If you do not believe in Israel's right to exist, that means you're an anti-Semite.
That's one candidate that you're talking about in the entire.
Yeah, the three candidates were all chanting from the river to the sea. One of them was at an anti-Israel rally the day after October the 7th.
No, listen.
You know what? The damn Germans did the same thing when Hitler was rising. They said, oh, no, he's not anti-Semitic. He's not this. He's not that. Are you kidding?
We're not making about it scary terms. There are people struggling in this country, and we need representatives that...
Not struggling anywhere close to when Joe Biden was the president.
Don't just represent the donors and the lobby groups and the billionaires. Mamdani is showing us that you can deliver. It is possible.
No, he hasn't. He's not delivered a damn thing. He hasn't delivered a damned thing. What he's done is he's causing businesses to leave. He's done nothing. He came up with a gimmick to cover up the massive hole that New York is in. They're bankrupt. And he's going to build some grocery stores that won't open for 3 friggin' years, and they'll be a failure. He failed on the rent control. He failed on the free buses. How is he succeeding? My God, you people are stupid. Here is this is the truth about the Dan Goldman and the coffee shop in New York, where a Jewish patron was banned for supporting Israel.
I mean, Dan Goldman is a congressman, and he's Jewish, and he went into a coffee shop this weekend in Brooklyn, and they said, "You're not welcome here anymore." Brad Lander is out speaking in mosques, telling those people that he'd like to go align himself with Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad. Dan Goldman's only sin, I guess, is that he thinks Israel has a right to exist. And for that, that has been the principal issue in this. And you've got the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, out saying about AIPAC and Jewish Americans who have participated in our politics that they are, quote, monsters.
Yeah, monsters. And here he is being confronted about calling them monsters.
Word choice, though, monsters. Do you have any regret? Would you clarify or apologize for that?
So, I was quoting Gramsci, who said that the old world is dying and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. I used the term to describe all those who are preventing the birth of a new world.
Oh, my goodness. Do you not see the smile, what it's covering? The shiny personality, the slick look. Do you not see it? I see it. We see it. We're not fooled. We are not fooled. It's not going to work. This is Van Jones on the collapse of... No, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it, but here is a brief cut from Van Jones about the communists.
This is a straight-up battle between the establishment and the insurgency, and the establishment is getting its butt kicked tonight in New York City.
Yeah, but communism isn't going to win. Certainly not in the 250th anniversary of our birth when patriotism is sweeping across the country. It's not going to work. But the great thing is now we know who the enemy is. Now we know who we are at war with because they've been at war with us for 10 years. We are battle-hardened, not battle-weary, and we have only just begun to fight. Dan Cox, gubernatorial candidate for governor, the official one, joins us next from Maryland. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when pain is a part of your everyday life. Relief Factor was created to help people address inflammation, one of the most common causes of ongoing aches and pains from aging, overexertion, and daily living. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that works through multiple metabolic pathways to support comfort and mobility. No prescription, no masking symptoms, just real relief so you can keep moving forward. I work out every other day, I crush it at the gym, and I ride my bike 100 miles on the weekend. I credit Relief Factor for making all of those activities pain-free. And as America celebrates 250 years of independence, give yourself a chance to reclaim yours. To commemorate, they're offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. Yeah. So you can pursue your happiness being pain-free. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4-RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Ghost Bed. I love my Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you're already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's exactly why I switched to Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed keeps you cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support. Less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is offering my audience an extra 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to around $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Now back to the Rob Carson Show, presented by Paramount Plus.
Dan Cox is ready.
What did you say? Your what is ready? Brian.
For a Republican to win statewide in Maryland, you have to convince a significant number of independents and some Democrats in order to win. How is your message going to resonate with them, particularly when President Trump, the leader of your party, is deeply unpopular here? How do you get your message to them?
This isn't a federal race. I know Westmore would like to blame the feds constantly, but the fact of the matter is Westmore controls the governor's office. Westmore has a supermajority in the legislature, and Westmore is doing nothing about his problems right here in this state. And we can compare that, with other Democrat-run states. We're pretty much the worst of all the Democrat-run states, and that's saying something. So he can't get away with blaming the federal government. This is about his watch, what he's done, and what he's not done for Maryland. We're going to make that case.
There you go. That is Dan Cox, the official gubernatorial candidate of the Republican Party for the great state of Maryland. Dan Cox, welcome to the show. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, thank you, Rob. It's an honor. Thank you.
My goodness, it's been a while since we have spoken. You ran for governor once, and you are back. I got to tell you, yesterday, a very gigantic victory. I had heard Ed Haley, he's going to be the guy. Oh, yeah, he's going to be the guy, and all of this. But it was a resounding defeat. It was a great performance. What do you attribute it to, bro?
Thank you. I attribute it to the great people of Maryland who, and in our party, who can see through, the Democrat strategy that they had to steal our GOP nomination, because we need a real, a genuine conservative that also is able to bring common sense policies, and not somebody who really is an O'Malley person to just kind of take over our party.
He's that left. And by the way, the 650,000 mail-in ballots. You tell me there wasn't something going on there that the Democrat Party, the machine, wasn't trying to mess with the state of Maryland.
Well, I certainly
go ahead.
I certainly decried it. I shouted out that this was a problem. We had our lawyer looking at whether we could do something at law, and I know that our good friends over at Secure the Vote are looking at that issue. But yes, we have to have election security, and the great news is, I'm actually, my side of the family is from Baltimore County.
Yep.
And I just, my heart and my hand goes out to all my friends in Baltimore County who were Ed Hale supporters and Tyrone Keys. And by the way, I have nothing but praise for both of them and their careers. As Ed Hale has done some good down there in Canton as a businessman. And then also Tyrone Keys, just a phenomenal person. I mean, he's a very cool dude on top of the fact that he's very smart and very much already reaching out to Mr. Keys. And we have a mutual, you'll be happy to know we have a mutual friend, Alan Keys, my former boss.
Oh, yes.
Different relation, I think, is what he told me, but certainly I think he was a professor. So, my heart and my hand go out to everyone in Baltimore County and to ask them to let's unite. Baltimore County, went for Ed Hale, did not go for me, but I have had huge support in Baltimore County before, and I'm asking for that again because, as you know, Rob, we have to beat Wes Moore. This guy is off the rails. He's taking our state in the wrong direction. We're number one for the worst and highest electric bills. We're like number 7 for the highest taxes in the nation. We can do better, and we will.
And also, I might mention the like I said, the energy costs are out of control. The Baltimore schools are second worst in the nation. For God's sake, a generation of children, once again, failing like never before. No future, some not being able to read, certainly not be able to math. And I just got to tell you, I like to say that Maryland Democrats are the frogs in boiling water. But I think we have reached a breaking point in the state of Maryland. I lived there 12 years and was paroled, actually, and decided to move to Virginia. And I would have lived in Maryland had the Maryland General Asylum not made life in Maryland so miserable. Tell us about the epic fail of the Moore administration. Let's just start with the Key Bridge.
Yeah. Well, I've been there to the Key Bridge, and I've highlighted this. We made this a central part of our campaign because, as you know, Rob, millions of dollars are being lost because that bridge every day stays closed and not rebuilt. And thousands of people have additional hours to their commute because of this debacle. And it's been 2 years with no serious action. There's not even been a finished cleanup yet. I know they're trying to push that forward. I'm not blaming the company per se. I just don't know what's going on with the absolute loss in real leadership and administration with Wes Moore gallivanting around the country while Marylanders are sitting in traffic, some of those who really thought that he did care about Maryland, but now they're finding out that he doesn't. And then you have on top of that, the debacle of the $300 million in our taxpayer money going to Baltimore City schools for ghost students. And yet the poor students, as you mentioned, these kids are being left out in the cold with zero proper building maintenance and zero education to boot. They can't, they're not being given the resources and tools. They're not being given the proper education to make a difference in this world, and it's heart-wrenching. We're going to turn that around.
Yeah, and it's the same as California. I would venture to say the Key Bridge is kind of becoming the high-speed rail of Maryland. They had to fire the contractor. They originally said $1 to $2 billion. They were getting like $8 or $9 billion. Now they don't have one. It is a complete Charlie Foxtrot. You've got outbound migration, just like in California. If I'm not mistaken, California number 1. I believe Maryland is like number 6 for outbound migration. Nobody wants to retire in Maryland, and just like California, Democrats have made Eden into hell.
That's why our campaign is focused on these fiscal issues, Rob. We are focused like a laser beam on the fact that Maryland retirees need tax relief. We have to have our seniors and retirees stay here in Maryland and have the fruits of their labor and their opportunities to be with their grandkids and not have to move to a tax-free state like Florida. We can do better here. And additionally, you're looking at the affordability issue. That's number 1 across the state for most kids having to move out. I mean, my own 2 kids, Rob, had to move out of state. My oldest 2 married children had to leave the state because they had no opportunity to actually settle down and purchase a home here. So they had to, looking at $600,000-$700,000 starter homes. That's unattainable for most kids.
Oh yeah.
And so here they are, moving to Pennsylvania and West Virginia. We can do better. We can slash the assessments. We can make sure we cap the assessments, and we're looking at slashing the regulatory costs. You know what we found out?
What?
There's a new national study that's showing $132,000 of the home cost is in regulation fees alone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And this is going to change on day one. A lot of people say, well, what can you do with a blue legislature? We can do a lot. First of all, look at what past Republicans have been able to do with fiscal restraint in this state. It has been a blessing. And we can do more and better. And I think that Maryland, like you said, is awoke. They've awakened.
Yep.
And they are ready for change. And I think it's now about making sure that we have a future for our families. And
all right. So, Dan, can you hold on through the break? I know you're very busy today after the victory. Can you hold on through the break?
Sure thing.
All right, so DanCoxForGovernor.com. DanCoxForGovernor.com. He is the, I want to ask him next about how the National Republican Party needs to help him out. Are they going to help him out? Also a little bit more about this Wes Moore lying about his military record, everything about his life as a facade. We'll get to all of that coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show.
way did it before is really off-putting. I can't believe that this can continue to go on the way that it has.
This is Ed Hale conceding last night.
But it has. I'm kind of stunned that
I'm kind of stunned this has happened.
It's happened because I truly thought that I was going to win this. I really did. And I was really looking forward to carrying the fight forward against Wes Moore, who is just a terrible, terrible administrator of our state.
Says Ed Hale, or I should say Wes Moore is a terrible, terrible administrator of the state. It is actually a joke. He spent, time. He decided he was going to immediately start running for president. He went over to Italy and hung out with George Clooney over there and all of that. And he has paid very little attention to the state of Maryland as Maryland has descended into the abyss. Dan Cox running for governor now, the official candidate of the Republican Party for the state of Maryland. I lived in Maryland for 12 years. they started doing nonsense like taxing the rain on your roof, and things have only gotten worse. Wes Moore, as a leader, and then also as someone who's not been terribly truthful about his military service, among other things, your comments on that?
No, he needs to come clean, and I'm calling on the governor to release his military records. I'm joining with Congressman Andy Harris, who has, I understand, offered to release his as well. We need to have transparency. This is probably one of the number one issues regarding accountability as part of our campaign and our prong that we've hammered. And the fiscal responsibility requires accountability. I mean, you can't trust someone for what they're saying, beginning with their own story, their own so-called life story that just doesn't measure up. Time and time again, we see that in the Baltimore Sun being exposed and then questions asked, and instead he dodges those questions. He refuses to release his military records to demonstrate what he's claiming to the media. And I'll remind you that the last time we ran, one of the things that he used to try to get an edge on me to really push himself with the military crowd in Maryland was this false narrative that he had these decorations, that he had this service, and now it turns out that a lot of that's not true. And so, yeah, he needs to come clean, and it's a demonstration of why accountability matters. We're going to bring that back with common sense here to Maryland.
Now, what has changed between the last time he ran against him? I mean, I know that the atmosphere has changed. I know that people in Maryland are sick and damned tired of the projection, the trajectory of this state. What has changed since the last time? Why do you think you're going to kick his butt this year?
Well, first of all, we see his record. Wes Moore has a now on-record demonstration of his incompetence, of his lack of fiscal responsibility.
Oh, my God.
For our state. $4 billion now structural deficit projected. And he wants to tax us into boredom, because of that. He wants to kick that can and then bring taxes, raise taxes like he did last year, next year. And that's not going to happen on my watch. And he's also, exposed himself with his lack of accountability and his stories that don't measure up. But I think one of the things that is most frustrating to Maryland are the skyrocketing bills. And what does he do? He leaves the state constantly. He talks a big talk, but everybody understands this now, and we're seeing that the Democrats understand this now. With he's underwater. He's under 50%.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, for a heavily Democratic state. So when we're out there door knocking, Rob, we're seeing this. We're seeing Democrats ask me one question as I'm door knocking, and we're hitting the doors hard already.
I know.
And we have been. And the questions are this. Are you going to be a more common sense governor who would lower my costs and lower taxes? And the answer is that's exactly who I am.
Yes.
That's the focus here. We're not getting lost in the weeds. We're focused on the fact that our wallets are on the ballot. Wes Moore wants to rob those wallets for his own national interests, and we're not going to let that happen.
And I might also mention Maryland does fees the hell out of you. To license your car, instead of taxing, they fee you to death. They did a stupid paint fee. So when you drop off paint, recycling, going to an NGO that's a buddy of Wes Moore's, so you can't even be guaranteed your paint's going to be recycled. It's a scam.
Absolutely, and he's also at the same time doubling down on property taxes, raising those assessments by 20%. They're looking at another 20% next year, and then he's also projected to raise the sales tax next year. So this is unending. And then when you couple that with small businesses not only are being fleeced, but they're also being chased out because he's doing things like allowing foreign turbine wind projects to take over only Atlantic Port, which has hundreds of jobs and local Maryland businesses that have been there for 100 years. It's a beautiful port.
Yep.
I'm going to fight that. And Ocean City, by the way, is united against this.
Good.
Democrat and Republican alike and independents, they are very concerned about these wind turbine projects that he's pushing that'll destroy the environment and the landscape. And
nobody wants those damn things, and they're worthless anyway. They kill whales. I mean, honestly, the surveying of the drives whales out of their minds, and they die. Ridiculous, and they're bird salad shooters. There's that too. One other thing: how are we going to get the National Republican Party behind you? Because you're going to need some money. Are anybody making any overtures toward you from the National Republican Party? They should be, because you're only a few miles from Washington D.C.
Well, I don't want to reveal too much, but
okay.
I can tell
all
you
right.
this. I just got off the phone
Okay.
With
All right.
the great Governor Greg Gianforte, and he is the chair of the RGA.
Okay.
Had a wonderful call with him.
Good.
They're 100% on board. So we're moving forward. We're going to fight, and we have the support.
Do me a favor. I mean, I talked to Myrick. I know Myrick. I know a couple of the other guys. I don't know Hale so well. I thought one of the things, Myrick, just didn't set the world on fire, but he got into the hood. And I think it's important you're in the hood. There is something big happening in the hood, particularly with black men. I think that they're turning away from this Democrat Party and this nonsense. And I think that Republicans could not be afraid of the hood, because I really believe we can flip the state of Maryland, and we could certainly have a gigantic impact on Baltimore, which is a failed city under a failed leader, a failed mayor. Go ahead.
Agreed. And you know what? Myrick's a friend. So is Brenda Cham.
Good.
I've already reached, we've already discussed the fact that I want them on the team. I'm
Good.
going to continue that. And,
yes.
and additionally, absolutely, I was in the hood, so to speak. I was in Baltimore City playing basketball with young men, and last time, and also went and did campaigning this time around, and we're going to continue that.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, the hope is there. They
Yes, brother.
do not have the future that they want. One young man told me as I played basketball with him, he said, he pointed right down the street, there was a guy shot there. He said, and I said, well, what could I do to help you? He said, I can tell you one thing. I have a dream to have a photography business, be able to grow, an online presence. He said, but I just don't have the access through my local, education resources, and I'm just kind of stuck here. And I said, you know what? We can make a difference, because small business is the way of the future. That's how I was able to build up my law business.
All right, listen, we got to run. We got to run. Dan Cox for governor. Dan Cox for governor. We're here for you, brother. Congratulations on the victory. Onward to save Maryland, brother. All right.
Let's go win. Thank you so much.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. It's the Rob Carson Show. Sorry about that, Brian. Hey, guys, it's Rob. We're really pushing it there. Oh, he's good. I'm very enthusiastic. Very enthusiastic. I'm eternally optimistic. That's the way I roll. That's how I roll. Anyway. All right. Anyway, hi, guys. That was good. I think, if he flips Maryland, I might consider moving to Maryland. Wind turbines are pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General. I forgot about that. Pickles from the dollar store. Holy hell. Hold on. Oh, my God, I forgot about that. Hold on a second. I got to find that jingle. Pickles from the dollar store. Oh, man. What was that? It was the Biden. What was it? Biden economy? Jingle, Biden jingle. Thanks for reminding me of that. I got to get that. Pickles from the dollar store. I'm going to ask Ken to send that to me. Ken, you got to send me pickles from the dollar store, period.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store. It's from the Dollar General. Expired yesterday.
Apologize. A little distracted here. Here we go. What do I want to do here? Okay. It's the Rob Carson Show. I want to thank Dan Cox for being on the show. I met him years ago. He ran for governor, and then he went to Pennsylvania for a little while, worked with a friend of mine named Doug Mastriano, who is a state senator there, and Dan is back. And I think that Maryland has a real possibility. I've seen a great coalition here of people, of conservatives that I've gotten to know here, and I've never seen it stronger than this right now. It's crazy. And I think Ed Hale's going to be good. I think John Myrick is going to be good. They ran against Dan, and if they join the coalition, It's going to be amazing. I've met some other people, too, who are going to be great. Tim Fazenbaker, who is a candidate for County Council Balmer, and Nino Mangione. I think that some great things are going to happen. I think we could flip Maryland, even though I don't live there anymore. Buy some gold, put some silver in your pocket. I know you're thinking everything is so bloody expensive. How am I going to do that? Well, why don't you take some of the money that you have locked up in something that's not performing? And I'm not talking about that 65 Mustang or that 69 Charger in the garage. That hasn't run for years. I'm talking about an old 401k from a previous employer or an IRA. How about you convert that into physical gold like I did? Price of gold is holding steady, right? A little bit over $4,000. Okay, that's a giant break for you. That's a giant break for you. If you're planning on doing this like I am and sitting on it for like a decade, now's a good time to buy it. We haven't seen this price in at least a year. So, right now, Birch Gold is giving you a special American 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 10th. So, think about this. Gold was $1,200 10 years ago. 4,000-ish, 4,200 right now. An opportunity for you to buy, an opportunity to move some money from something that is not performing to something that will perform. Text Rob to 989898. You know how it is. I've been saying this for a few years now. I am Birch Gold's longest endorsement. Thank you very much. You know why? Because you guys listen to me. Because they got my money. I'm not screwing around here. Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of a free America 250 silver with qualifying purchase before July the 10th. There you go. DanCoxForGovernor.com. DanCoxForGovernor.com. I would love to see Maryland turn around because it is a beautiful state. It's like California, a beautiful state. New York is a beautiful state. It's just that Democrats in these high population areas screw everything up. There you go. What a glorious show today. Make sure to check out the podcast. God Bless America as founded. Donald Trump, our great president. Screw these commie Democrats, and until tomorrow, do not catch the stupid like they have in New York City. See you then.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.